How's it going? Today we are talking about setting the perfect trap. Today we are discussing setting the perfect trap. If you've clicked on this video hoping to hear some discussion about Daniel Boone's trapping techniques with squirrels, or maybe some tips on how to convince that special someone how to finally go on that first date with you, I apologize, but this will not be the forum you were hoping to view. Today we're going to talk about setting the perfect trap, and actually it's not something that we impose upon other people, but rather it's a state that we tend to put ourselves in. What I mean by the perfect trap are those instances in our lives where we're contemplating maybe entering a new life phase, starting a new adventure, or setting a new goal. But instead of just jumping into it, we tend to think about all the things that should line up perfectly before we begin. In trying to line up those perfect circumstances, we end up trapping ourselves in complacency and just waiting, when really and truly we would have been better off if we had just started. Take for example my recording these videos. It would have been easy for me to think about the fact that if I had an awesome library of old antique books sitting behind me, my videos would probably look a lot more cool and maybe even give me more credibility in the YouTube space. But for that to happen, I would have first had to buy a house. Then I would have had to hope that my home was large enough that it had an additional office space with built-ins already in it. Otherwise, I would have to install them myself. Then I'd have to go out and buy all of the cool old antique looking books so that I had the credibility I was looking for every time I posted a video. That could have taken years, and I could have kept myself waiting and waiting for that perfect circumstance to start. Instead, I went to Home Depot, bought a bucket of white paint so the lighting in the room would be a little bit brighter, and here I am, able to post stuff, and I'm happy about it. So take a second to think about something it is that you're contemplating starting. Instead of worrying about all the things that need to line up for it to happen exactly as you hope, what's one small thing that you could do just to get started? It doesn't have to be a huge monumental feat. If you want to start becoming an author or writing a book, take 15 or 30 minutes every day and just start writing. Get the creative juices flowing. Eventually, that can snowball into 30, 60, or 90 minutes of writing time where you get lost in a creative groove and just go. If you have a favorite artist, a favorite business person, or a musician, odds are good you've probably heard them interviewed on some type of podcast or maybe even had the chance to see them speak live at some sort of event. I'm also willing to bet that at some point you've heard somebody ask them the question, how did you get started? More often than not, when people answer that question, the answer is not, I had an idea on Monday, and on Tuesday I was running a $100 million empire. They just had the guts to take that first step and get things going. From there, they pivoted, they made adjustments, and they kept their dream moving forward. So that's what I want my encouragement for today to be. That to start something, you don't have to have a perfect scenario surrounding you. It can just be one small step that gets that momentum moving forward and downhill. That's all I've got for today, so if you want to hit subscribe below to make sure you stay up to date on all of the latest videos, please do. And you can always visit austinbristow.com to see any previous posts.